Hey, morning everyone, this is John. A couple weeks ago I did a whatifi for VFX webinar, and one of the questions that came up was, can this be used for a client-side visual effects producer to build bids and set out award scenarios for a project? So this is my follow-up here where I want to show you a quick, simple example of what that looks like. And simple is in the eye of the beholder, because very quickly, as you'll see, as you add more potential studios and more potential scenarios, very quickly it can actually get quite complex. And that's where we really shine, is the ability to map out multiple complex what-if scenarios all in real time, and then to make decisions and understand how different combinations of those options play out. So our thesis is that a model should tell a story, and a spreadsheet doesn't do a great job of that. So here, for example, we have bid pack number 1, which happens to be effects heavy. So we're having Scanline, Image Engine, and MPC bid out that particular work. But there's a bit of a unique scenario with Scanline, is based on schedules, they could potentially do an 80-20 work split between Vancouver and Los Angeles, or a 50-50 work split between Vancouver and Los Angeles. And as big as tax credits are, they're a factor in our model as well, and we've allocated for where the work happens and what the potential tax credits are. In our second bid pack, which is more comp-centric, we're looking at 3 boutique vendors. So this is a bit of a shameless plug for 3 studios that are actually using my software right now. We have Nice Stuff based out of Vernon, BC. We have Dupe VFX based out of London, and we have Refuge VFX based out of Portland. So all 3 of those are bidding on the smaller comp package here. And then our third bid pack is a mix, and we're having Scanline bid that and Image Engine bid that. Right? Then we're looking at calculating what the tax credit eligible spend is. So what's happening in Vancouver, what's happening in London, for example. And then right now, it's always a bit up in the air because tax credits aren't a guarantee. We're doing a calculation that says, what if we get 25% of VFX tax credits or 30% of VFX tax credits for British Columbia, and then we have a target for our budget. So there's a lot kind of going on there, and to kind of prove my point, there's actually 48 different possible combinations of this model right now. Each of those we call a thread in the software. So they all represent a possible different choice and branch through that entire model and all the different kind of combinations, right? So I'm going to drill it a little deeper in, just kind of show you what this looks like on paper here. So for example, for Scanline right now, we can look at Scanline, and maybe for Scanline, they bid $840,000. They can start here in August, and they were going to run till January, right? But they're looking at doing a work split. So in that work split, in one scenario, they want to do 80% of the work in Vancouver and 20% of the work in Los Angeles. In the other version, they're looking at doing 50-50. So we kind of go back to comparing bids. We've got Scanline, which we all know does a great job on effects work and water simulations, for example, here. So there's $840,000. Image Engine has bid $720,000, but they have a different schedule in their availability. And MPC has bid $800,000 to do that work. Right? When we look at our comp bid pack, we've got Nice Stuff coming at $125,000. This is their schedule and availability. We have Dupe Effects is able to do it even more quickly here for $108,000, and we have Refuge coming in at $95,000 for that particular pack of work. And then for bid pack number 3, we have Scanline $540,000, Image Engine $620,000. So we're doing a tax credit eligible calculation. So here in this particular event, I'm going through the event and I am adding in all of the BC based offices and their work and allocation that they have. And then I'm doing a percentage calculation. So I'm saying, well, what if for that BC work, 25% of that BC work is available, and we're going to have that as a tax credit rebate that we'll keep track of. So that's cash coming back. Or in the second scenario, let's have a 30% tax credit, right? So now, and then lastly, let's add in a budget. So I want to say that for us right now, we have a budget of $1.25 million that we're trying to hit. So now we can take all of that and we can, it'll be a lot, because we can display on this graph here all 48 scenarios if we really want to. So we can see what our spend is going to be like over time, and we can see that a lot of those scenarios are above our 1.25 million budget, and a bunch of them are below there. So now we can start thinking about how can we potentially build out this model and make some decisions. So say that we start off, and it's like, okay, well, it is really advanced work here. I'd love to have Scanline do the effects work. I'm going to lock in that Scanline choice. And what you'll see in the model, what it does is it grays out, now that I've made a decision, it grays out some of those partner threads. Now I go from having 48 scenarios down to 24 scenarios here, and I'm into my decision-making piece here. So now I have a different series of values that are going on. Next, I'm still trying to wait to see what the choice of work split we want to be able to do here. But now when I look at here, I've got a bunch of different scenarios, and now I'm just underneath that threshold. So it looks like I'm going to be okay. So I can now start to make some decisions on where I want to be able to award the work, right? Now, maybe I don't want to load Scanline up with too much work at the same time. I want to spread that out. So maybe for bid pack number 3, then I'm going to evenly spread the work out, so I'm going to pick Image Engine instead. Now I'm down to 12 different scenarios that are there, right? I want to keep track of how much I'm spending in Vancouver as well, my eligible BC tax credit. So at this particular stage right now, my tax credit spend here, I'm looking at either getting $191,000 to $135,000 back. In this one, I've gone with 2 vendors with BC-based work. I can go with a 50-50 split with Scanline here to really help play out that particular piece. So now I'm down to 6 potential combinations and scenarios here. After a lot of back and forth, we think we're going to be able to get the 30% tax credit for BC here. So I'm going to go with that larger number. So now I'm down to 3 scenarios. And now it's a tough choice between awarding work to NICE, DupeFX, and Refuge. So that would be my last round of choices there that I would try to figure out so I can keep track of my cash flow for the entire project. So that's an example of how you can use whatifi to be able to model out different what-if scenarios as a client side. And as you can imagine, there can be multiple bid packs still further down the line. There can be schedule changes that are in here. There can be other episodes or other sequences. And this is a quick way of keeping track of all of those, understanding your budgets and your award scenarios over time. That's it. Thanks very much.